All right, sixth grade. Today is Monday. We are starting on our third week of doing school like this. It's kind of boring for me to teach in an empty classroom. No interaction, nobody answering my questions. But you know what? It's okay. And we're going to keep plugging along and hope you guys had a good weekend. So nice outside again. It was great. So hope you are ready to do math. We are on lesson 14, page 58. This week we're going to be finishing this math book up, and the first time ever I bet that you're doing a math test at home. But we're going to try and hope it goes well for everybody. But we still need to do 2 lessons before we get there. All right, so lesson 14, we're talking about the decimal equivalents of thirds and sixths. Says in Math 500, you memorize the decimal equivalents of these common fractions. That 1/2 equals 0.5, 1/4 equals 0.25, and 3/4 equals 0.75. Do you guys remember how we get the decimal equivalents of fractions? Do you remember that we divide the denominator into the numerator? In other words, if we have 1/2, we know that equals 0.5, but how did we get that? If you take the denominator into the numerator, 2 goes into 10, 5 times. Take the denominator and divide it into the numerator. We know that 1/4 equals 0.25. Again, you take 4 and divide it into 1. 4 goes into 10 2 times. Subtract is 2. Drop the 0 down. 4 into 20 is 5. All right, so they're going to be giving you some new fractions today. One of them is 1/3. One of them is 2/3. One of them is 1/6. And 5/6. Down at the bottom of your page, you see them in a brown box. Look at the first word on top of that brown box. What does it say? Emily, what does it say? She says it says memorize. That is a great thing for you guys to do because you're going to be having it a lot. And they're going to be asking you, what's the decimal equivalent of 2/3? And I want you to be able to just get it just like that, not always having to scroll back. Oh yeah, here's where we learned it. No, memorize it. Memorize these 4 decimal equivalents for thirds and sixths. Now, the decimal equivalent for 1/3 is 0.33. I think they just say 0.3 repeating. 2/3 is 0.6 repeating. 1/6 is 0.16 repeating. 5/6 is 0.83 is the repeater. All right, so that's what you're learning today. And again, divide. Let's just do this one. 3 into 2. Put your decimal down. 3 goes into 20 6 times. And look what happens. Again, we have 3 into 20, and we're going to have 3 into 20. So you can just say 0.6. You don't need those. 0.6 repeating. All right, if you go to the top of page 59, here's where you're going to be putting in the decimal equivalents and for the first section, and then the second section, they're going to give you the decimal equivalents and they want you to write in the fraction. So the decimal equivalent for 1/4 is 0.25. 0.25. The decimal equivalent for 2/3, 0.6 repeating. 0.6 repeating. The decimal equivalent for 1/6, 0.16. Only the 6 is repeating, not the 1. Just put the bar over the 6. 3/4 is 0.75. 0.75. Number 2, decimal equivalent for 1/2, 0.5. The decimal equivalent for 2/10. All right, we actually don't have that one on this page, so let's do it together. We're going to go 10 into 2. Well, 10 into 20 is 2. There you go. The decimal equivalent for 2/10 is 0.2. Decimal equivalent for 5/6 is 0.83, repeating. And 1/3 is 0.3, repeating. Now they're swapping it and they want you to write the fractions in for 0.5, 0.6 repeating, 0.3 repeating, and 0.25. And do the same thing down below. The only thing that I don't think we have is the 0.4. They have that down there. I'm not sure why they threw that one in there, but we don't have that one. We didn't talk about that one today. That one is 2/5. The decimal equivalent for 0.4 is 2/5. And if you would go 5 into 2 is 0.4. So 0.4 equals 2/5. All right, that is all for your new part today. Did any of you others have a question on how to do that little map? I had said on your one lesson that I was going to send you a map home, not thinking about that I had already handed your books back. So did you guys all figure out how to make a little map and use that to do, when you go back to page 54, you have a map there and they've got the scale of miles, but they don't really give you anything to measure it with, or just a handy little thing. Like I told you to make a little Post-it note. If you guys have any questions on that, I had sent Ashley a little video on how to make a Post-it note like that. So if you guys struggled with doing that, you have some answers on 6 and 7 that you're gonna need a little map. It makes it easier. Not a map, it's a scale of miles is what it is. If you would like that to make it a little bit easier to figure that out, let me know and I'll send you the video. Let's see what else you guys have. I think the rest of this you're probably going to be able to do. Now, try and keep up with your corrections. You're going to be bringing your book back on Tuesday. So Tuesday night I'll be scoring them and handing them back. Hopefully we want to get most of your corrections done before you take your test, or at least that you understand how to do things, because I'm not going to be looking over your heads as you're taking your test and making sure that you're understanding what you're doing. So let's keep up with your corrections. If there's a problem that you had a problem with getting a correct answer, or if you want to know, is my answer correct, did I do it right, send me a WhatsApp or a little video or a snap of your problem, whatever, and I'll try and walk you through it. All right, that's it for today. Have a lovely day.